Hey there guys and guys, Vetemor here with a quick update on how the land sale has been going so far. We're going to discuss the prices, we're going to discuss revenue distribution, how much are we about to be expecting to get. We're going to discuss SLV2, the current price, how much is left in people's wallets, what is going on so far. So let's take a quick look first of all at, okay, right here we have the different prices of every single batch that's been sold. So most recently what we're seeing here, the current prices, the minimum prices for a tier 1 land is 3 SILV in the last batch, and in the batch that just happened now it's been 2.87, and now before we were seeing prices of like 2.4, 2.5, 2.6 SILV. So the prices are increasing as we get closer to the end of the sale. For tier 2s, currently at around 9 on the last batch, 8 on the batch just now, and but however before that they were going as low as like 7, 6.5, those kind of numbers. So we are seeing an increase in prices all around. Tier 3s at 27 SILV, which, you know, earlier they were at like 24, 25, 26. So the prices do seem to be increasing. Tier 4s, 109 SILV for this last batch. So tier 4s seem to be in highest demand right now as whales are essentially FOMOing into them, trying to get them, trying to secure their plot of land. 109 SILV, we saw them at 10 SILV cheaper like a while back. So 10 SILV is not nothing whatsoever, but a while back that could literally buy you 4 tier 1 lands, which is pretty nuts. That's how much the prices are going up. And the other thing to look at is currently SLV2 wallets, like there is about 104,000 SILV that is still in people's wallets. We've got less than 24 hours left to this land sale, and there is 104,000 available SLV2. And to give context, so far in the land sale, only 187 SLV. So okay, it's now been updated to 200,000. Awesome. So in the land sale so far, which is more than 2/3 gone, already 200,000 SLV has been sold, and we currently have 100,000 available. There's tons of SLV left to go in, not to mention, you know, people buying with ETH as well a bit. There's 6,000 wallets currently holding SLV. Obviously, not all of those wallets mean much, since there is 2,500 wallets that are basically holding like less than 1 SILV, I think. Is that right? Yeah, less than 1 SILV, which literally obviously can't buy a land. I'm pretty sure that's like all the people that have bought land and just run out of SILV and just left some dust in their wallets. And there's also 1,700 wallets that, you know, have 1 to 5 SILV that are probably not buying another land, or maybe they're just potentially buying like a tier 1, but most of those probably are on the lower end. But then we still have a bunch of bigger ones. So there's, you know, 70 wallets holding over 100 SILV right now, 25 wallets holding over 250, 12 wallets holding 500 to 1,000, and there's even a single wallet that's holding over 5,000 SILV right now, which is pretty mad. I'm actually very curious who is holding that much SILV and for what reason. Are they keeping some SILV back, getting ready for Illuvatars, or maybe they're like that's like a guild wallet or something, and they're prepared to utilize that to give some SILV to all of their scholars to get them all started when the actual game comes out. I don't know, but it's very interesting just how much is still available, which is pretty mad. It's pretty mad. And when it comes to the Revdis, so far, based on the amount of Ethereum that we have raised, we're pretty much looking at receiving, if you've got like your ILV staked at 2.0 weight, you're looking at getting around about $1 per every ILV that you have. So For example, right now the ILV price is at $267, meaning if you had 267 ILV staked at 2.0 weight, you would receive one ILV basically. If you know the prices all remained exactly stationary. And obviously there's been a bunch of discussion on, you know, how should RevDis take place? Should it be done over like a month, 2 months, maybe even 6 months? Should it be like spaced out? And Daraji's made a very good point that when he initially said this should happen over 6 months potentially, that was entirely based on us raising like $100 million worth of Ethereum. We have pretty much gotten there, but it's a lot of that is SILV2, which is obviously all being burned. And based on the amount of Ethereum that we have so far burned, we're obviously looking at a little over maybe $1 per ILV for 2x weight. So he's actually proposing that based on his previous calculations, it probably makes more sense to distribute it over the course of like 7 to 14 days, maybe even stretching out over a month. I don't see an issue with that, but definitely nothing more than a month in order to distribute it, just based on the amount of revenue that has been received. Now, that's pretty much everything so far. All I want to say is anybody that hasn't bought any land yet, or has bought but is still like waiting to buy a few more, the only real reason to be buying more land at this point is just because you obviously just haven't yet. But like if you gotta buy your land, buy it as soon as possible. I would say I don't want to like cause any FOMO. It's just that either buy it as soon as possible, maybe wait for the secondary after the fact. Like zero FUDs. I just think also this is total speculation and not financial advice whatsoever, because the secondary right after the land sale, we could see prices increase, we could also see them drop. Like nobody knows what's going to happen, but what I can personally speculate on is that the closer we get to the end of the land sale, the less lands are available to buy in this land sale. So I do see there being a bit of FOMO. We have, of course, seen that there is still a ton of SILV in circulation that could pour into that land sale still. And there's definitely some people still just waiting to complete their mega cities, and they have like a plot or 2 plots missing, and they're willing to pay a slightly higher price than what you know, those minimum falling prices have been that we've seen. So basically, unless you're buying because you're still trying to complete a mega city, I'm not sure why you haven't completed all your purchases yet. Although I guess you can always be waiting for a dip, right? So there's nothing wrong with always waiting to see if there is a dip and not having all your purchases completed yet. Zero problems with that. Overall, I think we can all say that the land sale has gone incredibly smoothly. We've seen no gas wars. There have been some transactions that haven't gone through, but that's pretty much only been happening for people that are waiting for the lowest possible price, and then multiple people are trying to buy at those very lowest prices, and some people do have failed transactions. But what's really positive about that is that pretty much every transaction is under $20, and considering the prices of these lands and comparing to any other land sale out there, like that's insanely cheap gas. And losing a few $20 or less transaction fees is just barely even an issue, especially like most of them are way below $20. I think someone was saying that they paid like $3 for a bunch of them. So you know, it's been an incredibly good and smooth land sale. The UI has been super smooth. We've seen about $200,000 worth of just like gas being burned in this land sale. And if that sounds like a lot of money to you, it isn't, because we've raised like nearly 100 million if you count you know, SLV. Wait, okay, not 100 million, guys. Don't listen to me there. $60 million. So $60 million, but only 200K of that is gas. When you compare that to how much gas was burned in, like, you know, the Bored Ape Yacht Club land sale, that was freaking insane. That was freaking insane. That was ridiculous. So this has been super smooth, and anyone honestly in the Web3 space should take note on how a Web3 land sale should actually be done. Basically, it's been incredibly smooth. So far, we've seen the first 8 hours be declining prices, and then the next pretty much entire time we've seen like fluctuations, but we've actually seen very stable floor prices, with like some fluctuations throughout, but like it's honestly stayed really stable around the 20% of original price type mark, and falling a little bit below that at times, but never really penetrating below the 15% line. So that's pretty much where we've been the entire land sale. And what's starting to happen now, at least it looks like it's trending that way, is we're starting to get increasing prices. And I do think that by the end of the land sale, we may see a little bit of FOMO, just as like, these are the last lands left. Who's going to get the very last lands? So we shall see how that goes. I'm definitely going to be coming on and live streaming at least the last 2 hours of the land sale, maybe the last 3 hours. I may also come on with a few other content creators, maybe bring on Daraji and Layla Hell if I can, just for the technical analysis. So I will definitely be seeing you guys then. If you enjoyed this little recap, definitely smash on that like button and subscribe to this channel for more such content. I'm Vetemor, you're the future, and I'll be seeing you guys there.